This could be big for either player. Again, not only do you have to do well in this particular game between these two, you gotta dominate.
Wait, what's this? These guys are supposed to be the best of the best? The players that people look up to? No wonder everyone is so bad at Tekken these days. Someone has to make a guide that'll teach people how to actually play this game. Countless people describe Tekken as this deep and complex game that's extremely tough to learn and get good at. Well, that might be the case if you learn it by reading guides from scrubs or trying to mimic the so-called professional players. All they know how to do is throw out puny little buttons and abuse the secret movement bugs. But I digress. If you want to actually become good and learn how to play this game, you've come to the right place. Over the last few years, I've mastered the Iron Fist, creating a step-by-step program that turns cowards who rely on block spamming and fundamentals into deadly warriors who can mash their way out of any problem. Following this program won't be easy. Actually, no, it's going to be pretty easy. Pretty much anyone can do this. It's really just a matter if you want to be good or not. So if you want to become the best Tekken player of all time, then yeah, just watch this guide, I guess. I'm your host, Demon Guy 68 from the Gaming Goblins. Let's get right into this. Assuming you're starting from absolute zero, let's talk about what you'll need to get into Tekken. Step 1 is obviously getting some kind of video game apparatus. This one is really up to your preferences. Some people enjoy the relaxing simplicity of consoles, while others prefer the flexibility of a PC. Personally, I got this beauty back in 1999. The flames make it work faster, and I still get almost 20 frames per second with potato mods. Another big question is what controller you should be using. Since Tekken started out on arcades and home consoles, you'll find many people running either arcade sticks or gamepads. A classic example of tradition standing in the way of progress. What you have to understand is that movement is one of the biggest parts of Tekken. So you've got to get yourself a controller that was made entirely for controlling speed and precision. That's right. I'm talking about a racing wheel and pedals. I'm yet to find a single pilot in this game who can take the sharp turns the same way I do. Now that we got Tekken up and running, it's time to pick which character you'll be winning with. If you thought, that's easy, I just need to pick a top tier, then you couldn't be more wrong. The established tier lists are built on nothing but lies and misconceptions, with people using bogus arguments like they got safe pressure or whatever the hell that means. How can pressure even be safe? Doesn't it make things break and blow up? Anyway, I simply had to step in and make a factual tier list that will be based entirely on Tekken's hyper-realistic game design. As you can see, the majority of these characters are no good. They might be buff, they might wear armor, they might use weird magic stuff, but that's simply not enough when going up against the best. You think any of these characters can beat up a huge bear or a giant metal man? Don't make me laugh. All the characters you see above the useless tier can be potentially viable and take you all the way to the Tekken World Tour Finals, as my finest student clearly demonstrated against some Devil Gen player. However, if you want maximum power, there's no other choice but Gigas. Look at him, he's huge and red, which means he's dangerous. Now this guy can beat up a bear for sure. Before we dive into the nitty-gritty of Tekken gameplay, you have to get your character a makeover. The psychological warfare starts here. If someone loses to a huge red monster, their only thought is, of course I lost, look at that thing. We can't have that. Go into the customization mode and mess around with it until your character looks like a complete and utter clown. A creature so hideous that even having it on the screen would embarrass your opponents, let alone losing to it. Wow, this is awful. Fantastic. Following the previous steps should already grant you immense power. But before we unleash you onto the unsuspecting Tekken players, you still have to learn some basics. So boot up practice mode and let's get started. To move around, use buttons that don't attack. And to win, use the attack buttons. Got it? Great. The attack buttons are usually referred to as 1, 2, 3, and 4. Why? Because we want to keep things mysterious. None of that left kick, right punch nonsense. If you hold back, it will allow you to block attacks. You should only use this as your last resort, when you have absolutely no other options. If you get knocked down on the ground, you can now interact with Tekken's deep grounded game, where you have multiple options to get up or even attack your opponents. There's way too many of those options though, so I really can't be bothered to try and remember them. All you need is the 3+4 get up kick anyway, works every time. You're only one step away from completely mastering the controls and mechanics of Tekken 7. The last thing you gotta know about is the rage system. When your health gets low, your character will become evil, signified by a red glow. Now you can do a wake up super, or the blue stuff, which you can honestly just throw out whenever. There's not really any strategy to it. Now that you have a complete mastery of Tekken's fundamentals, all that's left is to master your character. I won't lie to you, this step requires a significant amount of dedication and brain power. Even people who've played this game for years can usually remember only 10 or 20 moves, which is why you see them spam the same few attacks over and over, hoping that next time it might just work. That's why I need you to start every session by doing every single move at least once, so you know what to mash when it really counts. Since it takes so much skill, nobody would expect you to also finish whole strings, allowing you to score some easy hits. If you're feeling particularly gifted, you can attempt to memorize a 10-hit combo, the absolute peak of Tekken execution. This technique is demanding, dangerous even, but well worth the effort. As for your bread and butter combos, there's a secret feature that the tryhards don't even want you to know about. Simply go to your control options and turn on basic combos. Congratulations! You now have access to highly optimal and consistent combos at the end of your fingertips. Imagine how many thousands of hours could be used for something more fun if everyone knew about the secret toggle. Look at yourself now. In just a few minutes, you've learned everything there is to know about Tekken. All that's left is trial by combat. But don't worry, I still have plenty of advice in store for you. Remember when I said you were ready? I lied. There's one last thing you need to get this rolling, and it's the internet connection. But not just any connection, you need the best. In my experience, the more haters you got, the more you're doing it right. So look for the absolute lowest rated internet provider in your area. Tell them you want as few wires as possible and a Wi-Fi router that has RGB lighting. Those are usually wonderful for gaming. I recommend setting it up near something like a microwave so you can cut the connection and grab a snack at the same time. The only problem with Wi-Fi is that it's simply too powerful and might make the game too smooth. But if you watch streams and maybe download something at the same time, you can achieve immaculate 3-bar connections or worse. Now it's time to hit ranked mode. You might just be a teal rank right now, but it's only a question of time before you become the next Elbow, Obi-Wan, or Super Balrog. The beginning of the match is absolutely crucial for establishing dominance. Start off by throwing out slow or risky moves to show your opponent that you have no respect for them and will crush them like the dust bug that they are. If that doesn't work, then try again. But if it does, then keep throwing out random moves until you win. If they use underhanded tactics like blocking and punishing, you might feel compelled to adapt, but don't give up. If you simply persist and continue making the same mistakes, your opponent will eventually fold. After all, Tekken is a battle of wills before anything else. Now, even though you've received brilliant coaching by yours truly, and have most likely spent dozens of minutes perfecting your skills, we all lose from time to time. And knowing how to deal with that is a big part of getting better. One of the most effective strategies is to do the Alt F4 combo right before you're about to lose. But doing it consistently will also require many hours of practice. When you can't run away from the problem, you have to face it straight on and just admit to yourself, I didn't lose, my opponent just got lucky. Their character is cheap, their playstyle is dishonorable, and my controller didn't even work. If not for those things, I surely would have won. Remember, you only lose when you admit that you lost, so practice excuses whenever you can. And that's all I got for you. You're now a complete gaming mutant. A creature so powerful and terrifying that most people are probably too scared to even interact with you. Nonetheless, thank you for watching this video, and thank me for showing you the path to the Tekken Olympus. It was lonely at the top. Until next time, this has been Demon Guy 68 from the Gaming Goblins, wishing you an okay day.